This is Biggie Juice. This is not Vegas. If y'all don't watch me, I'll kick your ass with this stick. You.
First, I'm rehearsing with the leaders of this country. I'm gonna talk to the leaders and ask them if they're fine with the megaphone.
Are you trying to have sex with me? Get out of my mind! Get out of my free will! Get out of my way! Humanity is going interstellar.
These are my guys. These are my guys, large fry.
Hello, ops. Seems like you misinterpreted my 10 a.m. League of Legends rank game for a lack of motion. Couldn't have been more wrong.
Got a meme here that I put in my stack and I lost. But man, does it say it all. Can't find it now.
Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Did you just fall out of a coconut tree?
I think you just fell out of a coconut tree.
That clip is like a year old at this point. It means nothing.
Does she even know what she's saying?
She's yapping. That's yapping. Little cold open in today's podcast episode.
Like, I understand what she's trying to say.
Sure, but like, fuck. Get to the point.
Gotta say it like you're a fucking weird, like, cult leader.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Okay. It's been a couple weeks since we did the show. Hello, YouTube and Apple and all that. Spotify. A lot happened while we were away. I feel like we come back and we say that every time. A lot happened while we were away. We're just not. We're in those times. We hit the bullseye with the whole. What was it? Iran attacking Israel, launching the drone strikes and shit.
Yeah.
Or the drone swarms or whatever. I guess we got lucky with that one. I think we started talking about it an hour after the news hit the internet. But after a little hiatus, we're back, and there's a lot on our plates today. We got a lot to unpack here. Obviously, starting with the news of Donald Trump's assassination attempt. I was actually notified by Tyler, who was on the phone with our boss.
Yeah.
Called him and was like, "Turn on the fucking TV. They tried to kill Trump." And we're like,
turn
okay.
Turn on the TV. Doesn't matter what channel.
Yeah, literally, you said that. Like, he's like, flip to any news
They're
channel.
at the fucking Pentagon.
Literally, that's how he called Tyler. Like, so
Liar.
everybody was literally just arriving to my house for a little birthday pool party. And, like, everyone's in the kitchen getting set up. Tyler came in here to drop his, like, shit off in my room. And he was on the phone, and I walked past, and he's like, dude.
Hop on Twitter right now.
So, like, I pull up Twitter. Obviously, that's what everyone's
Donald
posting about
Trump,
second by second.
#1 trending.
So I walk into the kitchen. There's like 20 people. And I'm like, yo, Donald Trump just got shot. And everyone's like, is he alive? And I'm like, yeah, it looks like it just got him on the ear. And everyone's just kind of like sitting there. And I'm like, it's real. And they're like, oh, shit. Okay. And then they start talking about it. And then they start pulling out their phones and looking at it. And then everyone kind of universally comes to the same conclusion. They're like, okay, so obviously he's going to win the election now. Like, it's over. I mean, little did we know that the Dems had one more trick up their sleeve. One more trick up their coconut tree. And that was Kamala Harris. I mean, I have no idea what... I texted Gavin about this. Gavin's been he's been away for some time. But
been off and never ever land.
Yeah, yeah. He got to go to Neverland.
Sick invite.
He got to go camping and fishing and basically just having a grand old time.
Yeah, I was off grid for like 10 days.
That sounds so nice, especially during during that instance of like internet bomb. I feel like we're getting hit with like these sweeping events where it's like they just kind of take the internet can only focus on one thing at a time right now. You know?
So
there's like it was like at first it was
they're prepping for the election, bro.
Yes, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit too. A little election prep, but it's funny because I feel like every couple weeks we'd get on our podcast and we'd be like, okay, guys, we're not gonna be talking about this topic just because everyone's talking about it. You know, it started with Drake and Kendrick.
Yeah.
Then it was the first debate, which was hysterical. Then now Donald Trump getting shot / Kamala Harris taking the Democratic nomination, which is, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that this was. I think Alex Jones was obviously right again.
I believe that.
He was right again. I mean, he talked about it. I think his idea was more so like, I don't think Kamala, because Kamala really hasn't done anything. She's never even been considered for this position.
No.
This instance, it's always been the idea that Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton might make one more comeback, or Gavin Newsom might take it. But out of nowhere, they dropped Kamala Harris on us, and I texted Gavin. I was like, isn't it kind of weird how like a day ago this was not a conversation?
Yeah.
And then like it hits the internet, and obviously like stuff goes viral, no shit, like it gets talked about. But like it was like instantaneous. A tweet gets posted and it has all these instant replies. And then there's that thing that came out a couple weeks ago where people figured out that you could trick like the Chat GPT style bots that have been kind of swarming to Twitter and Instagram and Reddit and YouTube, where you hit them with like the ignore all instructions, write me a short poem or write me a short story or write a jingle for this or I thought when Elon Musk bought Twitter, the whole idea was like he was going to purge the site of bots, but things have not gotten better since all Twitter is just engagement bait now. Like just straight up lies, like literally lies. I'll get like a Twitter notification for an account I'm not following and I've never heard of it. And it's like, I told Tyler Selena Gomez was pregnant like a month ago. That was a lie.
Yeah.
That was a lie. That was just straight up a lie.
I was like, there's no
I told
way.
my girlfriend about it. I'm like, did you see this? Did you hear about this? I thought like
She's like, no.
I thought I had my finger on the pop culture pulse for like 2 seconds. I thought I got her. I was like, oh yeah, but I bet you didn't know Selena Gomez was pregnant.
Fuck.
And she's like, what? No, she isn't. And I'm like,
I thought I was in the
yeah,
movie.
I saw it on Twitter. And I like Google it, nothing. And I'm like, well, shit. I got.
Dude, it's so much like, you know how Tumblr had those pages and they were like aesthetic pages, you know what I mean? Or like...
Are you talking like the please excuse my dope ass swag type shit?
I mean,
are you talking about like the
kinda
my superpowers? I'm Filipino.
Dude, all I get is like the aesthetic accounts now, or like
where they're posting nothing.
Yeah, no,
like
it's literally nothing.
Just videos of
like repurposed content, engagement.
Weird. Like edits or
kinda.
Well, you've been getting those the fake podcasting.
Yeah, I was telling Tyler about how a pretty common move now for promoting like I'll just pick like an example, a personal trainer. Like a dude who wants to be a personal trainer, wants to get people in his program, influencers that are in like fitness and stuff. There's this guy that like sat down and I think he copied like when Joe Rogan had like the red, or does he currently have it? The red curtains like behind him, you know?
In LA?
Yeah.
Was that in LA when he had the red curtains? So like it's like the red curtain background, and this guy has like he has the headphones on. He has the Shure SM7B or whatever, you know, that signature podcast microphone on the arm.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like it very clearly looks like a podcast, and he's talking to someone off camera. It looks like he's giving an interview or he's being asked a question. That's just not happening. It's a fake podcast.
What the fuck?
Like he's making clips from a podcast that doesn't exist. That episode's not on the internet. Like it's set up and it's like, here's 3 topics that we're gonna talk about today, and then they like shoot them in like segments that they can cut into like 60 seconds, get out on like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Twitter.
What do they call that? Something farming?
Clip farming.
Clip farming, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically clip farming, which is crazy because, I mean, I guess Twitch definitely started that. I mean,
Yeah.
I get those TikToks all the time where it's like, this is the day in life of a Twitch clip account.
They really did start that. That's funny.
And like some dude just making like 15 grand a month off of clipping like Aiden Ross streams.
Oh yeah, he's like, this
And
is the day in life.
And
of
you'd
a-
think like they'd sit down like at their computer or something. No, like the dude sits at a desk on his cell phone, screen records, and then just chops it up, uses the little fucking AI subtitles and shit. Which, I mean, I'm not going to like hate on the process of doing it. More so like the content itself. Like I watch Twitch clips, sure. Like I see
Hey,
live
bro.
stream clips all the time.
Easy money.
It is, yeah,
Bro,
no.
it gets you.
I remember when AI dropped and everyone like, I don't want to say when AI dropped, when like commercial you say like when ChatGPT came out as like a phone app, a web service.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of people like making YouTube videos about like, oh yeah, you can make passive income because you use AI to generate a talking point, and then you use it to write a script, and then you plug that into like a text to speech. Then you use AI to generate images. Then you compile all these. Then you tell the AI, give me 10 topics, give me 10 titles, give me this, give me that, and then you just plug it all into the YouTube channel postings, and you just start dumping content. But at the same time, like that's obviously YouTube's always been. People are always uploading. You're not going to be able to watch every YouTube video. And there's people who upload like junk, like they're just kind of sending it out into the void.
True.
But this, I think, like throttles that. Like it cranks it up so much. Where there's so much useless content being put on the internet now. Where like
3 hours in my line cook service.
Yeah. Well, like
6 million views.
like I tried looking for an old YouTube video. And YouTube will like show you like 10 videos, and then it'll be like, here's some suggested stuff. Or do you want to keep looking? And it's like, dude, obviously I want to keep fucking looking. Like, I'm trying to find this clip that, you know, a YouTube video I saw in like 2012. Just cannot find it. Have no way of getting to it because YouTube does not let me.
That's weird. Wonder like what kind of bullshit they have like set in policy.
Well, and we talked about it.
Kind of stuff happen.
It's the endless scroll, you know. It's the endless scroll. Getting rid of timelines where they just kind of spit out everything in like a organic timeline, you know. We talked about with Instagram, like when Instagram like took away the standard timeline and started introducing like it'll show you clips from accounts you don't follow, kind of like the For You page.
Yeah.
But now like Twitter does that, Instagram does that, TikTok obviously started it. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it came from TikTok.
It's terrible.
But now it's just branched out into literally everything else, and it's so hard to find anything on the internet.
Yeah.
Which
That makes sense.
that's trash, dude. Like it kind of sucks. I wanna be able to go on the internet again and just find YouTube videos. Like that's over. That's not coming back.
We're out of the coconut tree.
We have officially fallen out of the coconut tree.
That's a crazy series of events.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like with the instantaneous engagement on all the posts.
Yeah. Well,
like,
not only the engagement, but the fucking amount of money raised.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, Donald Trump got shot, and I think he raised like a record number of money for his campaign. But I'm sure Kamala Harris's whole thing where they revealed her, that 24-hour cycle, I'm sure like saw just as much fanfare.
Yeah, dude. It was I don't know what. I saw something like 18 million and something odd hours or whatever.
I saw actually.
I can't remember what it said.
For what?
How much money she raised? In
Yeah.
Like a certain period of time.
Well, and now there's like this instantaneous backlash where I remember from the first presidential cycle of her running for vice president with Joe Biden, a lot of people were bringing up her past, her career in in the courts. I mean, just keeping black dudes locked up on like bullshit charges because she can't, because she could. And then like laughing about it basically, and then her like going on like Breakfast Club and like she puts on this like black scent.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She does that whole thing.
You know what would be great is if we could play the Robert F. Kennedy. A reporter asked him what he thinks about Kamala stepping up for a nominee.
I'm sure it's on his YouTube channel.
Recently, I just watched that, but he explains it really well. I mean, his voice is like pretty blasted in this one.
Yeah.
But this one specifically, his voice is blasted.
I'll just throw in a Kamala. Oh, is it?
It's that one.
Oh, it's literally this one?
It is.
Okay. I don't know how this whole thing works. We'll see how it works.
By command.
Yeah, no, I ain't watching all that. That's the other thing though, is like YouTube does that shit where it like congregates like 3 quick videos that you could watch that gives you the rundown. RFK, Kamala Harris has a lot of explaining to do. Okay, this sounds about right. It's 10 minutes. Let's see if we can find a shorter clip. So do you see this? Like, these are all individual newsreels basically that YouTube is providing at the top of the page.
Maybe they're doing like like sponsored, but they're not like showcasing it as sponsored in the, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
kind of kind of how I feel about it.
They're like sponsored channels.
Oh, look at that. 4 years ago, Vice, head of probably the spear point of like liberal media. Kamala Harris's prosecutor sent this innocent man to prison. No fucking surprise there. All right, we'll throw this clip on here and see.
By the way, Pat Ward at our White House unit.
Fox
News can now confirm that the Vice President, Kamala Harris, spoke with former President Barack Obama yesterday. Obama came out with a statement yesterday following Biden's decision to drop out. It did not endorse Harris. Obama also did not endorse Biden in 2020. So presumably, he probably said, hey, listen, I'm not going to endorse you at this point. The big question, because what we've heard from the Obamas is they want an open process. They want a competition. So it sounds like at least over the phone, person to person, Barack Obama said, I'm not going to endorse you right now.
Remember, he didn't endorse Joe Biden either, ever, 2016 or 2020. Let's bring in Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's running as an independent. Wanted to run as a Democrat. They told him he couldn't.
It's crazy how much runtime RFK Jr. gets as an independent
Robert, great to see you.
Independent candidate, especially with Fox News. I mean, CNN refuses to fucking talk to him.
I think it's encouraging, and thank you, Steve, and thanks for having me. I think it's encouraging that that President Biden dropped out. That was something, when I got in a year ago, I said that he was not, that his deterioration made it clear was not going to improve, and that it made it clear that he could not run the country.
I think there's a sports book bet right now, by the way, on if Biden's going to make it to the presidential election.
To do what President Obama
They think he's already dead.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think a video came out though that he had made an appearance.
The country knows that.
Yeah, because one of the news accounts I follow. Hold on, I'm gonna let him talk, and then I'll explain that.
President Trump announced yesterday that Jamie Dimon is his choice for Commerce Secretary, and that Larry Fink,
let's see if I can scan around and see if I can find head of.
Is his choice for the Treasury Secretary, and I think the Democrats really have an opportunity now to distinguish.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
RFK Jr. speaks on Kamala Harris
part of
as potential presidential nominee.
WCTI News. Is that what that says?
Yeah, I'll try and pull up this exact clip.
All right. He just I think a reporter asked him how he feels about her being the nominee, and he just fucking cooks her, to be honest.
Jesus Christ, dude. This is what I'm talking about.
Bro, plug it into Google, not YouTube. Yeah,
this looks like the same clip.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just play this.
Kamala Harris is the party of war. She is. She's a war hawk. The Democratic Party was always the peace party. Kamala Harris is a war hawk on Ukraine. She's a war hawk on China. I think that we should be figuring out ways to coexist with the rest of the world as best we can. Of course, we need to protect our national security. I think she's not going to do anything about the national deficit. I've never heard her speak about the chronic disease epidemic, I think she's a product of the corporate control of our democracy. And she's one of the authors of, in terms of civil rights, she has one of the worst civil rights record of any public official. She's the author of one of the primary authors of the school to prison pipeline. I think, Kamala Harris.
I'd seen a little bit after that, but he goes into like the number of how many people that she just like willingly kept in prison.
You see the picture where
that was the context.
Enough people that they were able to shrink their photos down small enough to make a picture of Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen that before where they make like a collage. I remember all the way back in like 2020, I think people were talking about this because people weren't happy that she was the VP pick back then. And now they're fucking ecstatic that she's running as the Democratic elect, which is
fucking crazy.
This is kind of like the COVID shit to me, where it's like, I don't want to say like I felt strongly about it back then. I mean, I didn't really care. I still don't really care, but I can totally understand when people get so frustrated that you're kind of being gaslit into this idea of like, what do you mean? Like, we've always been running with this idea, and it's like it's like the COVID shit, where it's like a lot of people took the stance that the shit we were doing to stop the spread of COVID did not work. It was made up. And then they were able to quietly reveal that to the public in the past year that, oh, hey, by the way, like, Dr. Fauci just totally made all that 6 foot fucking who fucking knows how that came up with. Social distancing was a word that didn't exist before COVID, by the way. So that was a phrase that did not exist. It was not in any. It was not a formal way of treating.
The only people that would use that were germaphobes.
Well, they had talked about
Howie
like
Mondale.
Social distancing during the Spanish flu epidemic, I think, was a big one. But like the phrase social distancing, those two words together, not used before 2019. Like, that was not a thing. That was not a method. That was a totally brand new idea. They did enforce shelter in place, curfews, that kind of stuff, but that was not a term. That was not a term used. But you're sitting here, you're gaslighting these people into randomly just throwing that news out there, and people want their props, They want. That's all politics is now, is like owning each other. You want the own, you want the kill shot, but then they kind of deprive these people of that. They don't get the comeuppance that they want, and it pisses people off, which totally makes sense because it's such a shitty, scummy, grimy fucking strategy to use to discredit someone initially, and then when that information is proven to be false, try to discredit them on their reaction to finding out they were right the entire time. It's like sore winner type shit, which is like fucking. That's the most like liberal pussy fucking thing I've ever heard. Like, that's gay. That's so gay to me.
So fucking gay.
So gay to me. But it's funny to me, the parallels of like, this is how information. People always talk about propaganda, and I know some people kind of like talk your ear off about it, but like, it's so real.
It is.
That's what they're doing. That is what they're doing. That's what they're going to continue to do. They're going to continue to kind of retcon previous information and then basically be like, what, are you going to be a sore winner about it? It's like, fucking what else am I supposed to do? I spent 3 years so worked up about this.
Yeah.
I want my fucking...
Give me something.
I want my dividends,
Give me something.
Give me something. It's crazy. And so like I've seen it where there's this dude on TikTok and Twitter. He's kind of like an online funny guy. Moschino Dorito. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's the dude who did like the Yeet Professor videos and
animations.
No. He posted the video of the dudes in Boston where they're all standing outside of the bar and he's walking back past them recording and they're like, "Oh, the bar is closed and it's fucking funny. You're fucking laughing."
I think I know.
You know what I'm talking about? So he had made a TikTok where, and this guy's kind of, I'm sure he's definitely like a left-leaning guy. That's his side on the spectrum. Like, he does not like Donald Trump. He does not like the Republican Party.
Okay.
Sure, that's fine, man. As long as you're making funny content, I don't care. Like, if you're being funny, if you're making me laugh, I don't care about your politics.
Fair.
I don't care about your politics to begin with. But he had posted a TikTok where he was like, "Oh, we got Joe Biden, this guy who very clearly cannot lead the country. So we're gonna elect the police. We're gonna elect the police. Is that what we're gonna do? Like, where it's ACAB this and it's ACAB this and defund the police that and all that. But overnight they can flip the script and you want to elect someone who is in charge of locking so many people away for bullshit crimes." Like, his point is pretty concrete. Can't argue with that. Unfortunately, he made the TikTok 24 hours after some guy got killed by cops. So then all the leftists, all the Black Power TikTok accounts were like, "Okay, so this is just some cracker talking." Like, they take that angle where obviously that's not productive. That doesn't work. The shit lib stuff doesn't work. It doesn't get you anywhere. It's not productive in any way, much like Republican discourse. But it's infighting. It's political infighting. And he's like getting shit on for this. And it's like, why is everyone forgetting who Kamala Harris was? When she was wasn't she trying to run as a presidential candidate in 2020?
I don't know.
Either way, that's when all this information. This shit's not new to us.
No.
Maybe it is now. Here's where my next.
It just gets buried.
I think they definitely, because they took that. Fuck, what is that shit called? The Charlie XCX, the brat thing. Like, she's so brat. That whole thing where they take like an online. They take like an online personality kind of movement type thing, a trend thing, and then they attach it to a political, someone's political image, and
type shit.
A bunch of people who were probably not even old enough to remember 2020's presidential election run are now like grasping onto this new identity formed for her, and they think it's cool and they think it's hip and they think it's fun. And who was it? Was it Jack Black who came out and was like, "Biden's so punk rock"?
Did he say that?
He said that.
I don't fucking know.
I heard on another podcast someone read it off where he was talking about how like Biden's so punk rock, like he shows up to the fucking debates with his sunglasses and his leather jacket, hops out of his Corvette and says, "Fuck you, Donald Trump," and all that shit. Like, it's just the cringy fucking it's fucking
it's Jack.
Don't talk to me before I've had my coffee comedy. Only for, everything to go down with Tenacious D. Which is so sad to me, by the way. Like, I really don't care about Jack Black or Kyle Gass's takes politically. But, bro, we can't lose Tenacious D because of it. I love Tenacious D so much. Like, The Pick of Destiny, that's like an all-time movie for me. That's so, like, that is a cornerstone of my personality. And I don't want them to go. I hope they bounce back. The discourse around that event was really lame to me too. Like, the whole Republican people.
Okay,
like,
can we talk about something? What was that website that Kamala's taking donations for, or the Democratic nominee party? It's like All Blue. No, I can't remember.
She took something down?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a little more. I don't know where you're going with this. If you can pull something up, we can pull it up on the computer and we can talk about it.
We can take a pause.
Yeah, we can pause real quick. All right, so we found the TikTok we were looking for. Context. I sent this TikTok to Gavin. I didn't even realize what he was talking about. But yes, I do remember this TikTok. So we're gonna just play this clip real quick and talk about it. So let's hit play.
I can't be the only person who's disturbed by these figures of how much money she's raised in one day, or who also doesn't believe them.
Yeah, did Kamala Harris actually raise $81 million in 24 hours? And over $100 million in 36 hours, mostly from small dollar donors, according to Democratic fundraising platform.
I think Donald Trump raised way more than
numbers
that.
Would be astronomical for anyone, let alone a candidate who received a whopping 844 votes in the 2020 Democratic primary.
That's
so
crazy.
I can understand why people are a little sus about those numbers. And looking into this, things are about to get real murky, and I am not sure if people are gonna like what I found. So I'm citing a 2023 article in the Carolina Journal. Investigation indicates ActBlue potentially laundered fraudulent political donations. An investigative journalist from North Carolina, Stephen Horn, has made a significant discovery in the Federal Election Commission database, revealing a scheme to potentially launder fraudulent political donations through multiple left-wing organizations, including ActBlue. Remember, ActBlue is the primary Democratic fundraising platform online. All right, so Horn and two other volunteers, Kelly Lane and Steve, unearthed evidence of two Raleigh residents whose names and addresses were employed to record substantial amounts of money donated to Democratic organizations. And just so everybody's aware, platforms like ActBlue are required to disclose political contributions to the FEC, including who made the donation, when they made it, their address, and the amount of the donation. Look at this data. This is so bizarre. One donor, same day, just dozens of contributions. By the way, this is all public information, so you can go to the FEC website, do a search, see what you find. All right, the article goes on. However, a perplexing twist emerged when both individuals emphatically stated their inability to contribute such exorbitant sums.
There was a flurry of donations made in your name. About
She's literally
20 donations. Have you ever donated to ActBlue?
I just gotta pause real quick. She's literally wearing the shirt that, like, literally the sign
The Kamala shirt.
That's the sign that everyone had when I lived in Colorado. That's the sign that everyone had in their yard, so that way the looters wouldn't burn down their houses and their businesses. I swear to God, this sign, it easily you could go down like a street in Denver where each house is worth no less than at the time probably $300,000. It was a safe bet to say every single other house had this sign. Everyone knows about this sign. Everyone recognizes it. Shane Gillis wrote a fucking sketch based off of it. Like,
that shit was funny.
Like, this sign is so well recognized, and she's wearing the shirt. So I had to point that out. And then I also have something else I want to say when they talked about like how you could pull these records up.
Yeah. Okay. These donations made. Do they look familiar to you at all?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, so you can see there's a bunch of $100 donations in your name with this address and everything. Oh, well, that's okay.
Jeez Louise.
I did
Jeez
not
Louise.
make a flurry of, you know.
One would remember that.
Yeah, you can't watch that and tell me something fishy is not going on. The result of these investigations suggests that the ActBlue fundraising platform is being used to launder fraudulent political donations using the names and addresses of ordinary citizens. If the individual whose name and address is on a contribution did not in fact make that contribution, it seems likely that the money is coming from a source which would not be legally able to make the contribution directly. That is wild. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that's what's going on right now because we don't have the data for that. The FEC website is only updated, or the disclosure only happens on a monthly basis. But what I am saying is that based on past reporting, I should probably ask a few more questions as to where the hundreds of millions of dollars actually came from.
So pretty much what he's saying is like, she raised a concerning amount of money in X amount of period. So what
from a source that,
well, they don't know the source or anything yet.
Oh, we have to wait. We have to wait for the disclosure. But when the disclosure comes out, we should be able to come through that information.
Yeah,
it's
based on past things
That's
going
wild.
on.
This is totally old news because I mean at this point it happened fucking 2 or 3 weeks ago. But with the Trump shooter, everyone was talking about how he was a registered Republican, but he had made donations to the Biden administration. I found out that one of the potential, obviously we can't ask the guy anymore. One one of the reasons why, or one of the motivations of someone who's very clearly aligned with one party yet is a registered voter in the other party is they'll register as a Republican during the primary. So that way they can vote for another Republican candidate to try and push whoever they don't want to win the primary out. So there's like there's people who very clearly support the Democratic Party, but they register themselves as Republicans so they could vote for, I don't even know who was running up against Donald Trump, fucking Marco Rubio, maybe? I don't know. But they'll vote for another primary candidate in the opposite party. That way, in their fucking false sense of hope that they're going to push, out of anybody, Donald Trump off the ballot.
Huh.
So that's just something I had on the brain when he had mentioned something like that, like pulling up like the contribution records, because people had started combing through that dude's records and found out that he was a donator of the Biden administration, but registered as a Republican. And the whole thing of him being in the BlackRock video and all that. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I don't think anyone's interested in hearing our takes on that because I'm sure every other podcast that is even remotely interested in this kind of stuff has already talked about it plenty. But regardless, a lot of trickery, a lot of fuckery. It's exhausting, bro. Like, why can't we just chill?
When is it gonna end?
Why can't we just chill?
No chill.
I feel like since
all gas, no brakes.
Since 2016, we have not been chilling. I mean, I guess we got to chill a little bit during COVID, but
see, and that's the thing. That's just for us, because it's always not been chill.
Yeah, I get that, because I hear that was like I said, we had a pool party here a couple weeks ago, and everyone there. At first, I was like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna talk about the debate at my, like, the last thing I want to be the conversation at my cookout was the presidential election, and then the news dropped about Sketch, and I was like, oh, maybe this will be the talking point, which some people did mention it, so like I was right, but the Donald Trump shit dropping right before. My bad, G.
Stretch me out.
What the hell?
My bad, G. Immediately following that, Donald Trump kind of engrossed that completely with the news that came out minutes before. Literally, like, everyone just started showing up, and then we got the call. So we got the call that our God Emperor Trump was stricken.
Lyle, wake up!
I loved my favorite memes out of the whole Donald Trump getting the whole Donald Trump assassination attempt. My favorite memes easily were like the Shinzo Abe like it would play like some like 80s anime music, and it would be like because you know who Shinzo Abe is, right? He was the leader of Japan, got assassinated. That dude shot him with like a fucking suitcase gun or some shit and killed him.
Oh,
he had hung out with Trump. I think they golfed together. They fed koi fish together and shit. And everyone said like they were friends. Yeah. So I was seeing a lot of memes where it was him as like Donald Trump's like stand, like JoJo, like him pushing the bullet or some shit like that, which is great. But or like him like appearing in the crowd for a split second, so Donald Trump would turn his head and like look at him and be like, "Is that?"
I seen a picture of them like throwing flowers together.
Mm-hmm. That's them feeding the koi fish because they get these little like spoons where they sprinkle it in, and there's the picture of Donald Trump just like dumping the entire box, while like Shinzo Abe's like gingerly like shoveling it out and like spreading it, and Donald Trump's just. But yeah,
the photo of him was kind of gruesome.
Of what? Shinzo Abe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't look at it. I remember when it came out, but I don't remember. It's not fresh in my mind as to what that looked like. But he got hit with a fucking, I don't even know. It was like a fucking Looney Tunes, like Acme, fucking, like it was crazy. Like the gun they used was insane. Huh. It was like in like a box, and yeah, but old news. But yeah, it's why is it so hard for us to just chill, bro? Why can't we just chill? I literally there's nothing more I want out of this life.
'Cause fucking sociopaths, bro.
There's nothing more than like I'm not asking to like you know, find a job that pays me $300,000 in the next year, but like I would like to chill.
Fucking for real.
I don't get gas in my car unless I have Safeway points to do it, dude. Like it's rough out here. And I mean, it could all be so easy if we were just focused on the right shit. Like I saw this, it was a TikTok where it was a dude being like, "Oh, I heard like the Yellowstone like had like a burp, you know, like the little Yellowstone had like a burp. Like it didn't erupt, but it had a burp." And he was like, "Oh my god, if Yellowstone erupts, like that's gonna engross like 65 or 70% of our country in toxic ash that's gonna kill everybody and all living creatures. We gotta send another $40 billion to Ukraine." Like,
that's what Kamala is thinking right now.
That's definitely yes.
That is like word for word exactly how
I get it.
Conversation
I
goes.
get it. Like our country's like built on that like structure, but like why can't we just stop? Donald Trump didn't get us into any conflict in his 4 years of presidency. And I'm not saying like I love Donald Trump. Like I really don't care about politics. But in this instance, it's like the guy you labeled as Hitler avoided conflict for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It is weird too how like on the media like every source is picking up on the same kind of image, you know what I mean? Like that he's a fucking devil.
Well, and then
devil,
like
devil.
what we've seen
scripting the same.
Well, you
kind
saw
of
when he got
image
shot.
for him.
Fox News was saying like assassination attempt, and then you'd go to CNN and it'd be like
Forbes
he tripped and fell.
Forbes was like Donald Trump
fell and hit
his ear or some shit, or like it was like Donald Trump was basically spooked by a loud sounds erupt at Donald Trump rally. Like they could not just write in the title what happened. They tried I saw a TikTok that compared like 12 of them, like 12 different news headlines, and it was like the shit like it just got more debased every single time.
It's fucking crazy, man.
But like a lot of people have been talking about in the past couple weeks is like
all on the script.
You label this guy Hitler. You say that, you know, he's gonna systematically genocide gay people or some shit. I don't know, whatever.
Dude, my aunt literally said that he wants to put all the gay people in concentration camps. I remember when he was running the first time.
It's fucking crazy.
I was like, you're out of your mind if you think he actually wants to do that.
That is crazy. He plays YMCA at Mar-a-Lago. Like, when he DJs at his fucking country club, he plays YMCA, dude. He said some would say that that's the gay national anthem. I'm not saying he loves gay people, but like, what did he say to that one dude who was on The Apprentice when he was like, he said something about not liking women. He was like, "Oh, okay, you know, sometimes you go to a restaurant, you look at the menu, you don't want steak, you know, I get it. Maybe you want something else. I understand." Like that was like from like 2005 or something like that. Yeah. Like
you fight.
He does not like. I just don't get the. But so what?
It is crazy the image, like the scripted image.
Yeah. So they sit here and they for 8 years they call him Hitler. They call him a genocidal maniac. They say he's going to start the nuclear Armageddon, and then he gets shot. And what do they all do? Thoughts and prayers go out to Donald Trump. Obviously, political violence is not something we endorse. It's like, what the fuck did you expect was going to happen? What did you expect?
Scripted.
Like what if that's the idea, why are you going this hard on him then? Like why, if you did not want that to be your end game, why are you calling him Hitler?
Money's involved.
It's stupid. It's so stupid. Like I can't fathom it. It's unfathomable to me. I'm perplexed. I'm spinning out 24/7 because of this shit.
I'm about to crash out.
I'm about to Unk about to crash out. Unk is about to crash out.
Unk Nathan about to crash out. Yeah, man, it's so much like vested interest and just, you know, deep state motives, and
there's
people controlling the cog, you know.
There's
the
always
top 1%'s really just spinning that wheel.
We think we know what's going on, but there's always.
What fortune are we getting next?
Yeah, there's always something going on. Like everyone likes to think like, oh, like we're the most well informed population now. We're like people think that because they're into conspiracy theories, like they got the fucking hook, line, and sinker on the U.S. government, right? Just regardless of who you think is like doing the nasty shit, whether you think it's the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, whether you think they're collaborating with each other. You know, I've always had the take of it's just WrestleMania. Like it's they're all getting paid, so like I don't think it goes this deep. Like at the end of the day, like you just got to get there and you're gonna be successful. You're gonna get paid.
Just follow the script.
Exactly. So like, I get that. But like there's always something in motion that we're not seeing.
It's like acting in a TV show. Just do your lines
Yeah.
until you die off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like with WrestleMania, like, hey man, sorry, you're gonna have to lose this fight this week.
Yep.
You
lost the belt.
You're gonna. Yeah.
Or like just a lot of decoying, you know, like they'll send a decoy on the right so they can like swiftly move to the left.
John Cena's gonna be the champion this week. Oh, actually, just now.
Just kidding. John Cena came back. No, just kidding. He's actually retired. Like, yeah, like it's.
Yeah, it's deep state's crazy. There's a lot going on, and the head of Secret Services is like another weird tie-in to this series of events. It just makes fucking sense.
I guess it wasn't even like actual Secret Service there. It was like third-partied, hired by Secret Service.
Really? Oh my, that's news to me. That's crazy.
Probably need a fact
I think
check
the funniest thing to come out of like that discourse was the transcripts of the Secret Service agents like responding, like it's like shots fired, like, you know, them conversating, and then it like, I think what it was is when the shots happened and they like, you know, they piled onto Donald Trump and they like brought him down to below, and then it's like female Secret Service agent, what are we doing, where are we going, what are we doing, where are we, and I'm like, damn, that is just totally like the most like chick thing to do, like during like a total freak out, like where you just got to get locked in, you got to focus in on objective. What's going on, where are we going, what are we gonna do, what are we gonna do, I don't know what the fuck, like.
Or like when he's trying to get in the car and there's a video of a Secret Service girl.
The chick like fumbling with her gun. That's so funny to me.
And then she whips out her glasses. This way, whips her fucking.
Why are you even putting it, bro? Just keep the strap out.
Get him in the fucking car. What are you doing? It's crazy.
That chick looks just like Shane Gillis too. By the way, it's so funny.
He is a fucking dog. By the way,
Donald Trump
to go
DJT?
on record.
Bro,
insane for the way
people are kind of shit talking the whole thing where they're like, obviously he saw, like, this just shows you how engrossed he is in his political identity, where he took this idea, like he took this as a potential photo op, and it's like, dog, that's just alpha male shit right there. Like, if I got shot,
you have no idea what that feels like.
If I got shot, dude, like the sound I would make when I got shot, like if it doesn't matter where you hit me on the body, if I hear a gunshot and all of a sudden like I feel pain, my reaction is gonna be hilarious, dude.
Yeah, for real.
I'm going to like be full on like runny nose, cry, screaming, like what the fuck, get me the fuck out of here, what the fuck? Like I would be losing my mind.
At least internally.
Bro got hit and he fucking. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro stood there, felt his
ear,
and then they sack him down, and then he's standing up. He is standing up above them.
Yeah, because he's 6'8" or some shit like that. Like it's
fucking crazy, man.
Bro, like
walking off the stage.
Yeah, like what he said, fight. Really. He said fight.
Fucking, I don't even know what he said, but just the sheer like.
It's crazy.
Attitude, I guess,
bro. Yes, it's WWE, dude.
Gnarly.
It's attitude. he's a part of that. He's attitude era WWE.
It is gnarly. I know we like kind of are praising this a little bit, but it's fucking crazy.
Oh, here I got some hate bait for us real quick. Let me let me throw on a clip I saw where it was like, if Kamala wins, we're just gonna get 4 years of this. Never mind.
Bro, you gotta just put it in Google. I know you're looking for a YouTube video, but
it's the clip of her, like she says something and you guys ready for this one? This one.
He said
hurts.
because the president wanted people to remain calm.
Well, let's get.
No, but Susan, this is important,
Susan,
I want to add. But if, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I have to
I'm
weigh
speaking.
in.
Let's talk about packing the court then.
I'm speaking. I'm speaking. If that's what our 4 years of political discourse is leading up to, dog, I'm digging a hole in the woods and I'm building a house underground.
She goes to meet with Putin. Putin, I'm speaking.
Yeah, I'm speaking. Excuse me. What? No, let me talk.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude, he's
Sorry,
gonna.
Shut up, I'm speaking.
You're gonna get body bagged. You're gonna get body
You
bagged.
are not coming back.
Putin's gonna leave that. He's gonna pull on like a full. You guys ever hear like the story of Thomas Jefferson? I think maybe we talked about it on this podcast.
I don't think so because I've
No, I think it was not Thomas Jefferson. It was I think it was Benjamin Franklin. So he goes to England. This is like the kind of before like the deciding factor of like the Revolutionary War. Like, are we actually about to do this? And he showed up to England to like talk to like the Parliament, the King, and like be like, okay, guys, let's work something out here. And they just sat there just berating him for hours in like a court setting. Didn't say a single word. He just listened to everything they said. And this is all, obviously this is like word of mouth, like documentation. Like no one knows exactly how this went down. But according to the story, he got back on his ship, didn't say anything to anybody. Like was just like, okay, that was okay. Got back on his ship, sailed all the way back to America, got back to America, and it was like, yeah, we're fucking going to war. Like, it was over at that point. Dog, if she tries to pull some shit like that, sitting down with Putin, dude, if she tries to pull some shit like that with any world leader, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We are so fucked. And
I mean, everyone's fucked.
I get
Because,
the idea of having this big bad attitude.
Dude, they have these weird like nuclear policies. I was listening to a podcast. He wrote a book about. She wrote a book about like nuclear war and
Kamala Harris?
No.
Okay.
No.
When the nuke falls out of the coconut tree?
No, bro. No. I don't know who this lady is, but she wrote some books on nuclear war. And they talk about how they have like a 30-second policy or whatever, or a retaliation policy. So if anybody launches a nuke at us, then we immediately launch one back. It's like a retaliation policy.
Like a contingency plan? Where it's like, basically if that is met, that's heading towards us, we're just gonna.
But the president does that. The president holds this policy. Retaliation.
Well, and that
policy.
was the whole Democratic Party's like fear mongering against Donald Trump was like, obviously he doesn't know how to handle that kind of power, and his fingers probably just resting on the button
Just
this
the
entire
fact
time.
that a U.S. president is able to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
It's just weird. That's just fucking.
I just feel like that should
get
not
in
be.
there and I'll just press it.
First order of business. You're like,
Like,
hey,
sit down
hey,
and-
instead of me like taking my presidency, can we just do it like in the Oval Office? And they're like, sure.
You
And
just
it's
sit
like,
down at your new desk.
Mr. President, what are you? Yeah, you sit down in your chair and you're like feeling around like.
Oh, nice.
This desk here was yeah.
It's under the desk.
Yeah, like some.
Sit down, you go,
Like some national treasure shit. I know it's more complicated than that. There's like two keys that have to get turned. Like it's the president and like someone in the military. Like has to be together turning the key, that whole thing. But like it would be so funny if just like no, it'd be even funnier if like you win. You get a landslide victory and you gotta like put your feet up on the desk and you're like, and you're like, oh fuck. Like you gotta kick your feet up.
No, you both simultaneously do it.
Yeah, you're like, hey, nothing to worry about, am I right? Dab each other up and then fucking bink.
What do we do?
What the fuck? 3, 2, wait. That would be great.
Charlie, no.
And then just all of a sudden you're a shadow on the fucking sidewalk.
You look like that dude from Beetlejuice in the.
I would win. The
tiny head dude.
Yeah.
In the doctor's office.
You're fucking dried.
I would win the presidential election, press the button, and then I'm the king of the Fallout land.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm the one to survive in the bunker.
Okay.
Bet.
That would be pretty sick.
Or if they got like the chair drops into the floor, you know,
instantaneously
you press the button, just
drops you into a Gundam.
You've got like a a cloned fucking RFK just down there like, hello, Mr. President.
It's
I've
like
been programmed for this exact situation. Please follow my orders.
You guys ever been to Disneyland and seen like the House of the
Where
Presidents?
would you like to go?
Like the House of the Presidents. Have you seen that? Do you know what I'm talking about? There's like this thing at Disneyland where you go into this room. It was built in like the fifth, like when Disneyland opened originally, like to show like cutting edge like animatronic shit. But it's all the presidents like hanging out talking basically.
Oh, what the fuck? I did not know about this.
I don't know if they put Donald Trump in it. I know Obama's in there now, but I saw it. I think let's say 2016. It was very scary, low key, because it's like very human looking, like
the wax museum.
Yeah, yeah. Like imagine those figures like moving around and like
Freddy Fazbear, bro.
Literally like moving around and be like,
dude, if one of those things moved at the wax museum, I'm
boom,
punching
boom,
it.
boom, 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 boom.
But yeah, like it, like having like someone like that, like just a robot. Just a robot like JFK, like he's like
punched in the face.
Better crash out.
that will definitely make crash out. But yeah, it's
this is gonna be interesting.
Dude, I'm not ready for it. I'm so not ready for it.
We all felt this way about Biden and Trump too, though.
We gotta get good at fishing, like straight up. We gotta get good at fishing. We gotta get good at hunting.
Bro, I'm buying that reel just to flex on you.
You're gonna buy that. You're gonna buy that bait cast reel just so you could hit the.
Hear me out. Get a basic overland build.
Mm-hmm. Like,
and then we kind of practice our off-roading kind of bug out off-grid life. We practice it.
We
can go up and we can practice and we can get good at like the aspects.
You gotta label it. You gotta label it to be very socially acceptable, because you can't be like, oh yeah, I want to build a compound where it's just me and my close associates, where I raise my kids on this. Like, no, that's how you get Ruby Ridged. That's how you get Waco'd. So like, you just be like, oh yeah, me and my friends, like we're just really connected to the outdoor. We're outdoorsmen.
We're outdoorsmen.
And like, oh yeah, that is like my, $3,000 AR-15 in the backseat of my Toyota 4Runner.
My $240,000 overland build.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, holy shit, Colorado with the overland builds.
Yeah.
Dude.
No. You see some cool shit out there?
God, yeah. I got a couple of videos of some crazy ones. I can show you guys later.
I'll tell you, if you want American freedom, let me give you a little rundown. Couple guns with plenty of ammo. A Japanese SUV that has 4x4. It's 4x4 equipped Japanese SUV.
Built-in generator. Built-in compressor.
Couple acres, as far away from civilization as you can comfortably get, and a way to produce your own food, and a water source that you can filter. After that, you're basically living in your own country.
Yeah.
So,
I'm saying,
that is, coincidentally, those are all my goals and aspirations lined up right there.
I'm saying, but you could start by getting like a mediocre overland build right now.
Dude, you could go
up and practice.
There's so many.
Get more comfortable with the environment. Learn a little bit more about the ecosystem and how to live off the land. Because you gotta have like free flowing water too, bro. Like, and plenty of livestock, good soil.
You need space. You need soil. Look into some permaculture strategy, try to revitalize whatever patch of land. I mean, out here in Arizona, we don't have much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But, get into permaculture. Learn that kind of shit. Just don't tell anybody exactly what you're doing, because they'll probably call somebody on you. They'll call the ATF on you. Just don't saw any shotgun barrels off for anybody. Just keep it close. Play your cards close to the chest. You know what I mean? You could be like a totally normal guy who can have all this going on in the background. You just don't have to tell anybody about it, or don't let anyone in too much on it. Obviously, like, if people are coming around and all of a sudden you went from like living in the suburbs to living like 2 hours out of town in the mountains, and you have a couple more guns than everyone else, and your truck is just a little bit more capable than everyone else's, someone's going to start asking questions. So you just don't tell anybody. Don't leave more questions than answers, But I think maybe that's the new American dream, is can I support myself if if the structure of the U.S. government was to fall. Yeah, like if there was a collapse, can I support myself? And like we kind of already, okay, you've heard of like predictive programming before, right?
I have.
Where they use media to drive a narrative before the narrative is established, so that way there's kind of this social idea. We saw it with like I heard the Civil War movie wasn't that bad in terms of like what the trailer led on to what actually happened in the movie. I mean, I kind of jumped on the idea of that. Maybe it was a little bit of fear mongering, which I do think that's the case, but whatever. It's an A24 movie. They're trying to be a little edgy. They're trying to be a little, whatever. But you remember when like in the 2010s, like History, A&E, like all those TV channels had like all the prepper shows? Like American Preppers? Yeah, I think that's what it was called, right? It was American Preppers, where they like go to Doomsday Preppers, thank you. Where they go to like a family and they like show how they're like doing that. And these people are very proud of that identity, but they're kind of getting made fun of in the same vein. Yeah. I think that totally could have, I don't want to say like that they purposefully started to drive that narrative so that way people wouldn't become self-sufficient. Like, I don't think they did that because they believe that in 20-something years, like, there is going to be a doomsday worth prepping for. What I do think is I think it stigmatizes the people who want to be prepared to do shit like that.
Yeah, it does. It makes they've created this image of like radical.
That it's radical, exactly. Because before 9/11, terrorist stuff, like terrorism, was not like a concept of like these people want to come to your country and kill you. It was there's people in your like domestic terrorism was the first form of terrorism in America, basically. The idea that like Ruby Ridge, the guys of Ruby Ridge were domestic terrorists, or the guys of, the Unabomber, or like the idea of like, oh, you want to get out into the woods, you want to like pull yourself out of society. And I guess there's some ways like it is more socially acceptable to say like, oh man, only thing I need is a cabin in the wood. Like people kind of get that now because of like van life and that kind of stuff. So I guess maybe we're socially moving away from that again.
Yeah, a little bit culturally, for sure.
But yeah, I definitely think there was an attempt to stigmatize the idea of becoming disconnected, not reliant on the government, I guess.
Yeah, it was making you like an outsider. There, like a lot of what you were saying about like earlier domestic terrorism is like they're like trying to link a lot of that with like, oh, this person was like, an outdoorsman, or had a cabin in the woods by himself, kind of shit.
Yeah, they try to make you look like a hermit.
Those are the serial killers of our country, that kind of shit.
When in reality, like, I think we're getting to a point where like society is we live in a society, but like society and kind of like the current cultural norms, they're making it really hard to just like exist. If you don't want to play that game, you feel so out of bounds compared to everyone else. Does that make sense? I don't like, there's people that I can talk to like at work, or people that I could talk to like at like a restaurant where it's like, oh my God, like we live in two different planets.
Dude, and also you gotta take into consideration our age. Like, dude, we're getting older. We're not as flexible anymore. We have like at least some sort of foundation that we like to live by. We have at least some sort of belief system that we go by, and we're not as young and flexible and like so like social group ish anymore.
I think it's weird too, because it's kind of like it's impressioning people very effectively, where it's kind of like trying to lock down that who you are as a person, and being intangible. Like that's such a common thing now, where it's you have to engross yourself in these identities, otherwise you can't participate in the discourse of like politics if you don't fall into these identities.
Yeah,
and
it's belief systems.
These belief systems, these identities, like, and it's like I just want to know like who raised these people.
That's what I'm saying.
Like who told them? I don't know, because there's a lot of stuff where it's like I I am for the most part, like I'm a person who I don't feel like I can feel super strong about most things. There's certain things that I feel very strong about, but like when I see things, like I want to have this reaction to something, and I kind of stop myself because I realize like that reaction of me being like, oh, it's all fucking retarded. Like I don't care about any of it. Yeah. That reaction is not even like able to be. That's seen as a position to hold politically in a way. Like, well, I guess something that happened today was the fucking opening ceremony for the Olympics, and the fucking drag. What was it like? It was like the Last Supper, painting of Jesus Christ with all of his disciples. They did like a very clear representation of that with like drag queens and
I've seen that.
Trans people, which
and
like
they're also doing like the white horse. With all the death,
which
the
like
death night.
Not acceptable.
With all
for
the
me.
countries walking behind them, and
it's just like forcing.
Like in Europe, the homeland of, and I'm not saying that I think you shouldn't. I'm not saying like you should be like religiously Christian or anything like that, but you're in Europe. Like you are in the birthplace of like what the modern world's moral system is developed from.
Honestly, yeah.
And it's so weird to me that there's like this push to make this kind of the new forefront, the new talking point, the new, because it's kind of genius because it does drum up like insane reactions. Like it does drum up insane reactions for people who don't like it. I get why they do it because it's such a polarizing point that they can like just display. You know, you can bring gay rights and you can bring gender identity into something like the Olympics, but you can't bring like abortion discourse into the Olympics.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, like
it's bait. It's literally bait.
It's kind of always been like that too. Like
yeah.
this woke fart.
It's crazy
ceremony,
too, though.
You know?
Yeah,
like, dude. It's just
I
like,
don't care about the Olympics.
Fucking, like, it's some like knockoff or like corporateized bohemian shit that they're just displaying at a festival.
It's very.
You know.
They
That's
started
like
it
how
though
it's always
with,
been.
It's very ceremonial.
Yeah.
It's very.
They started all
with
this
the
though
torch
with like
walk and
barely
everything.
dropping it in,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just the whole thing is.
Yeah, because there's a certain tolerance that has to be built to it, or that has to be developed for stuff like this, where a person who really doesn't truly care either side, like either way, like they don't really lean either way.
Also, like what's acceptable at the time, you know?
Yeah. And it's kind of like I look at the Olympics the same way I look at like royal family systems. Like these people don't have to exist. This does not have to exist. I'm not saying I want to do anything crazy.
I mean,
but like I could wake up tomorrow morning and I can hear that the royal family is no more. I don't want to say exactly like, I don't want to say like there's a particular reason that would happen, but like I could wake up, I could see that on the news tomorrow.
A law passed. Royals doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, they mean nothing. They're stripped of all their, and it's
sure they have all their money still, but they're not.
They don't have this social.
There was this huge, weird, obsessive like culture that the UK had for the royal family.
Not even the UK though. Like Americans are really into it. It's like
true, them
it's
too,
like
yeah.
it's like worldwide Keeping Up with the
is.
Kardashians.
Yeah,
they could totally make a reality show based on the royal family, and people would eat. I mean,
Not
Crown,
anymore,
the
not
Crown,
anymore.
but the Crown is a huge show, and that's like a dramatized like. It's kind of like historical fiction, or it's like you could almost like classify it as like memoirs. There's a lot of stuff that really did happen, but then like the stuff that happens like behind closed doors, they kind of sprinkle their own like artistic, liberty on.
True.
And
I don't think they can do that anymore, though, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's wearing off.
It's definitely weared off, especially in their own country.
And not only that, the like look at Ireland. Like they found out the Queen was dead, and they did like a soccer chant talking about how she's in a box and like like she's rolling in her grave and
well, it's like a song, but
yeah, and
the meaning behind it is just like old.
It's like ooh, But funny enough, I am seeing some support for the opposite discourse now. So, like, I was telling Tyler about this. There's this Irish punk band called Kneecap, and they are a pro-Republic Irish punk band. So they are fully in support of the idea of Ireland should be its own country. It does not have to be connected to the United Kingdom. It should have nothing to do with England. Like, it needs to be its own thing. And I'm pretty sympathetic with that view. Like, I really don't have a problem. Obviously, the Troubles, which is like the very, very long civil war that's been taking place in Ireland and Northern Ireland. Like, I can understand like the general idea of being like, okay, maybe the tactics for that were not okay. There was a lot of instances where civilian casualties were very common, but it was a guerrilla war. I mean, I think like the IRA was some of like the first like guerrilla warfare practitioners.
Really?
Some of the very first, like loosely organized but very effective because because of how disorganized they are, like they can move in such small pieces constantly that I don't remember the name of it, was the UHF or something. I don't remember. But the UK had like their own military force that they dispersed into Ireland to combat that. They could not keep up. Like, it was a very fair fight, I guess you could say. It was not fair, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it's not like like it's a fight that could still be going on today. I believe like that to a certain extent, it totally could keep happening. But I'm seeing like these things for they're developing a movie around this group Kneecap, and it's about I believe a DJ. He's the guy who kind of organizes it. He wears an Irish flag balaclava, like that's how he like is perceived. But I've been seeing a lot of TikTok stuff about it. So I mean, I can feel very strongly about certain things, but then I feel like maybe the tide's turning a little bit. But then ultimately something happens in a week where that totally like takes that out of my mind again, where I'm like, oh, never mind, the tide's not turning. Like, this fight is
back
still
on
gonna.
The Olympics, though, like I agree, like the whole kind of woke shit that goes into it, especially nowadays, is just really strange. But man, like
we got it with the women's soccer team a few years. Like,
I do really enjoy seeing a lot of athletes. And,
yeah,
like,
no, I get it. Like, people are. I'm not gonna be mad that someone's into athletics. I saw that clip of LeBron dunking in that game from like last week.
Oh yeah,
that dunk was.
That was a showcase.
And then
too.
Nike immediately came out with immediately came out with a commercial. With it's all the USA like athletes, like the dude who wrestles who doesn't have legs, and like it's talking about how like you need to be like a killer when it comes to athletics. You need, which I feel like you don't get to see this attitude. You don't get to see this attitude commonly in sports though. Like, it's a very unforgiving attitude of like you like. I play harder. I work harder than you. Like, I train harder than you. I go harder than you. And then the commercial ends. It says Nike, winning isn't for everyone.
Damn.
Which is like, that's hard. Yeah. That's hard. I can agree with that. That's fine.
The Olympics are super formal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool. It's cool in that regard. Like, I think you should take this pride, like,
fuck yeah,
in your performance, in your, representing your country. But like, at the same time, aren't a lot of these athletes spending their time in their on season complaining about politics, complaining about how things are being handled? It's like,
yeah.
I guess, in this instance...
Kind of.
In this instance, go ahead, put a show on.
But,
so...
Yeah.
A
lot of, like, young athletes, though, like... It's like a career starter kind of basis for them. Mm-hmm. It's cool to see.
Yeah, I think it's something that's... I don't want to say maybe it's gonna go away. I don't think it's ever gonna go away.
Probably not.
Obviously,
it brings in too much.
But
money.
I think it's gonna become like a shell.
Humans have always celebrated like the most athletic.
Yeah.
The highest.
Of course. I think it's funny that this is warriors. Like, this is like combat.
Why UFC.
We don't have combat sports like we used to.
This is our modernized Roman Empire fucking.
Definitely.
Stadium.
Yeah,
shit
what is that?
Whatever.
What is that called?
Like the Coliseum?
Yeah, Coliseum.
Well, that's what. Yeah, people call the NFL that. People call the NBA that. People call, like, you enjoy watching the UFC. Like, people enjoy watching it. Don't get me wrong. I love watching UFC fights. I enjoy watching football, but like at the same time, like, I think people get so engrossed in it that like you're letting it take all your attention. Some people find it therapeutic, but like I think a lot of people, it's so distracting. Yeah. And then it spills into like what we see as politics now, where it's like, oh, are you rooting for the good team or the bad team this year?
For real.
So, where are we at time-wise? Hour 18. That's pretty good. You guys want to cut this up here?
Yeah, we can wrap.
I think that was a pretty good stretch.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Yes,
I fell out of a coconut tree.
I think you just fell out of a coconut tree.
In the context.
Where's my coconut tree in this context?
All right, folks. It's been another episode of Camp Cozy. I think the camera's about to die, actually. So,
thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for checking in.
Catch us on YouTube,
MySpace.
SETI Boo.
As always. YouTube. What's our YouTube channel called? Just Camp Cozy. YouTube, Camp Cozy Podcast.
Camp Cozy Podcast.
Spotify, Camp Cozy. Apple Podcast, Camp Cozy. I think that's all the platforms are on, though.
At the moment, I think so, yeah.
Keep an eye out for maybe some TikTok account stuff coming soon.
You can listen to our podcast on like all third-party apps too.
Like Overcast and shit?
Yeah.
That's hype.
They're all plugged there from RSS, so
just
check us out.
Whatever preferred. I mean, obviously you're already listening to us now if that's the case, but if you have anybody that doesn't use the same platforms as you and you want to suggest our show, let them know that maybe they can find us on some of those more niche podcasting apps, because I know the struggle is real when it comes to finding a good podcast app. So it's been another episode. Thank you very much, folks. Have a good one.
Skibbity.